These few days, some friends have been asking me my thoughts on sea burial, which is scattering the ashes of the deceased into the sea. I feel it's not a very wise move to do, especially for the prosperity of the future generations, and I'll explain it from a science point of view. Firstly, let's establish the fact that everything is energy. Science has already proven that you can Google, you can chat GPT, whatsoever, and give you the answer. And we know that the concept of us consists of two parts. First is the physical body, and secondly is our soul. Based on the principle of how everything is energy, our soul is also energy, and it's us. Our physical body is also energy, and it's also us. Next is the proven concept of quantum entanglement. So in more layman terms, what quantum entanglement means is that two objects, with objects being anything, could be particles, technically particles are a form of energy as well. Okay, everything is all energy. So two objects are correlated in such a way whereby even though these two objects can be super far apart in space and time, but when something happens to one, there's an effect on the other. So our physical human body and our soul can also be said to be in a relationship of quantum entanglement. So a common misconception that people have when they do things like sea burial is that, after a person has passed on, yes, the soul leaves the body. So they think that the physical body that is already dead and rotten and being cremated in the ashes has nothing to do with the soul. The soul has already moved on. So whatever we do with the ashes has nothing to do with what happens to the soul after that. But that is not true because of quantum entanglement, which is why things like this happens. Ancestors pass on to their descendants a dream of how they are cold, wet, and lonely when the descendants have scattered their ashes into the sea. Why? Because the ashes are quantumly entangled to the soul. So whatever the ashes are experiencing, there is a certain effect on the soul. And quantum entanglement is a scientific reason behind why people have paranormal encounters that are not so good when they, for example, accidentally step on someone's grave or things like that. Aside from what I just shared, when the ashes are in the sea, it is scattered all over. It's just super dispersed. So likewise, the energy of the soul will not be concentrated and congregated. And when the energy of the soul is not concentrated and congregated, the energy is not strong. And so when the energy of the ancestor is not strong enough, then that's where you have lesser ability to protect or pass on these energies to his descendants. In worst cases, this could lead to the prosperity and wealth luck of the descendants going downhill. Energy is what gives us wealth. Higher, stronger energy equals more wealth. So another analogy, although it might not be a perfect analogy to help you understand better, is think of your ancestors' energy like $1 million worth in coins. So when all $1 million worth of coins is buried, for example, in the grave or stored in a jar, it is much easier for you to access all at one shot each time. Versus if these $1 million worth of coins are like dispersed all over the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean, you're going to have a very hard time trying to pick up and get all $1 million. So in the same analogy, that is kind of the effect on the descendants' wealth, luck, and prosperity when the energy field of the ancestors are dispersed. So if you're thinking of just telling your children to scatter your ashes into the sea after you're gone for their convenience, or you're planning to do so for your parents' or grandparents' ashes after they're gone because of convenience, this convenience is going to lead to a lot of inconveniences for the future generation. So my take is, sea burial, I'd rather not.